Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the hungry stranger. A cryful, emotional story. Grumble, rumble, rumble, grumble. The poor hungry man could hear his stomach rumbling and grumbling. He was so very hungry. He had not had anything to eat for so very long. I know, he thought to himself. I will go to the mosque where people are praying and thinking about their God. Someone there will surely help me. The mosque was a big, beautiful building. The people inside were saying prayers and thinking quiet thoughts when the poor hungry man went in. That man looks kind, thought the poor hungry man. I'll ask him for some food. The man he chose to ask was indeed a very kind and very special man. He was called Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and many people believe that he was God's special messenger in the world. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tried to help. He asked another man to go to his own house to fetch some food, but the answer came back, "No, I'm sorry there is no food." Grumble, rumble, went the hungry man's tummy. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked a second man for food and a bed for the hungry man, but the answer came back, "No, I'm sorry there is no food and no spare room." Grumble, rumble, went the hungry man's tummy. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked a third man, and this time the answer came back, "Yes, I think I can help. My wife and I have some food and a room where this man can sleep." The kind stranger took the poor hungry man home with him. He whispered to his wife about what had happened. "But what can we do?" his wife whispered back. "There is hardly enough food for our children to eat, let alone you and me. And now we have an extra mouth to feed as well. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked me to help this poor hungry man," said the kind stranger. "And so we shall. But we mustn't let him think we haven't got enough food for him. If he realizes that we do not have enough food to share, he will feel guilty and he may not accept it." So the kind man thought and thought about what he could do. "I know," he whispered. "When the children are in bed, we will turn out the lights and serve the food in the dark. We will say that we have to keep the lights out in order not to wake the children. We will pretend that we are eating, but really we will give all our food to the poor hungry man." And this is exactly what they did. They sat down in darkness, and while the poor hungry man ate, they pretended to eat too. The hungry man's stomach stopped grumbling and rumbling. He had a good meal and a good sleep. The next day he said, "Thank you," to the kind stranger and his wife, and went on his way. When Muhammad saw the kind stranger later in the day, he said, "Thank you too." And he told the man that God was very pleased with him for being so kind. One of companions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very poor. He felt he could not do anything to earn and get money to feed his family. His wife advised him to go to the Prophet and request his help. The companion approached the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but as soon as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw the man, he said, "If a person seeks something from me, I shall certainly grant it to him. But if he were to be self-sufficient and work hard, Allah will make him free of want." Hearing this, the companion said to himself, "The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has intended me by this speech of his." Without uttering a word, he returned home and narrated the incident to his wife. His wife said, "I think you should still talk to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, explain your dilemma to him and see what he has to say." The companion returned to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for the second time, but heard the same sentence from him and again came back home without saying a word. When this was repeated for the third time, the companion borrowed a pickaxe from one of his friends and set off towards the mountains. Throughout the day, he worked hard to gather firewood, which he sold for some flour, and that night he and his wife had bread for dinner. The next day, the companion worked harder and collected more firewood, and this continued for several days till he was able to purchase a pickaxe for himself. After some period, as a result of his hard work, he managed to purchase 2 camels and a slave, and slowly became one of the rich ones. One day, he came to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and narrated to him the events of his life and the effect of his words, whereupon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded, I had said before, one who seeks to be independent of others, Allah shall make him independent. Moral, work hard for yourself, too. Do not request for help when you can work on something yourself. Hey, amazing my YouTube family! Thank you for watching Spiritual Miracle Tales. We hope these stories have touched your heart and inspired your soul. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel and share these tales with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring more uplifting and miraculous stories to the community. May peace and blessings be upon you. Stay tuned for more inspiring tales. Don't forget to like, comment, and spread the love.